Hey guys, picture this. You're standing at the edge of a massive steel shaft, surrounded by heavy machinery, seasoned treasure hunters, and centuries of myth, all while knowing you might be just feet away from solving a 230-year-old mystery. In episode 24 of season 12, everything shifts. New data, eerie collapses, ancient tools, and historical connections converge in a perfect storm of revelations. If you're a fan of ancient legends, lost treasure, and secret societies, you're going to want to hang tight. We're going deep, literally and metaphorically. So let's start where things get intense, the fabled money pit. The team's back with heavy equipment, digging a 7-foot-wide shaft dubbed Toot 1, placed just 10 feet south of the now infamous TB1. If you remember, TB1 was the shaft that dramatically collapsed after hitting a mysterious void at 160 feet, what they're now calling the solution channel. Think of it like a naturally occurring underground chute, or maybe a perfectly engineered vault. Drop. The panic? Oh, it was real. Because what they suspect is that a concrete-covered structure, the elusive chapel vault, may have fallen straight into that void when the earth caved in. This vault was first reported in 1897 by Frederick Blair, and has haunted Oak Island lore ever since. Now, after decades of dead ends and misdirection, they might be on its heels. And here's the kicker. The team believes the treasure could be sitting just 200 feet below their boots. Let's shift gears to Lot 5, where Alex Lagina and Peter Fornetti are getting hands-on with some archaeological clues that may blow this whole mystery wide open. Picture them unearthing a strange button, one that eerily resembles symbols carved in prisons they just visited. In Malta. Yes, Malta. The home of the medieval Knights of Malta, a group many believe might be tied to the enigmatic Knights Templar. And those symbols? Nearly identical to ones found on Oak Island in the past. That's not just coincidence. That's a connection. That's evidence. They're not just chasing legends anymore. They're tracing the footsteps of real people who may have crossed oceans and buried religious relics beneath the soil of Nova Scotia. Throw in a few square nails dating back to the 1600s and suddenly, what seemed like wild theory now carries historical weight. The swamp has always been Oak Island's mysterious, mucky wild card, but what's coming out of it now is astonishing. Surveyor Steve Guptill and geoscientist Dr. Ian Spooner present a data bombshell. Wooden survey stakes dated back to the mid-1600s. But that's not all. They've mapped out a cobblestone path, stretching over 600 feet, suggesting large-scale intentional construction. Oh, and did I mention a vault-like feature buried up north in the swamp? One that matches an image from an obscure 19th century book? This isn't random. This is architecture, purposeful design, possibly by people trying to protect something, or hide it forever. And the dates? Perfectly aligned with when the Knights of Malta were active, especially around 1630 to 1680. Coincidence or confirmation? Then we get to the boulders. 4 weeks earlier, the team uncovered a potentially man-made seawall-like structure in the northern swamp, something that matches descriptions from Fred Nolan, one of the island's most legendary treasure hunters. It's massive, 14 feet long in some parts, and lined with support stakes dating back to the same mysterious 17th century timeline. Could this be how the swamp was created? A manipulated barrier to hide activity, or mask the construction of secret vaults? The team thinks yes. And ground-penetrating radar just found an elongated anomaly behind it that matches Nolan's claims. Could this finally be the wall he described? The 1960s? Let's be real. If they dig this up and find anything resembling a vault, wall, or even remnants of Templar activity, this will be one of the biggest revelations in Oak Island history. As winter approaches, time is running out. 2-1 is the team's final attempt this season to reach the solution channel and possibly recover what may have collapsed from TB1. This isn't just another shaft. This is their Hail Mary. If they fail, it's months of waiting. If they succeed, well, it could be the moment we've all been waiting for. And they know it. Every member of the team is hopeful. nervous, focused. Because for the first time in years, everything seems to be aligning. New physical evidence, confirmed historical dates, international connections, and compelling scientific analysis. It's no longer just about chasing ghost stories or distant legends. Now it feels real, tangible, within reach. What makes this episode so powerful isn't just the speculation, it's the data. Steve Guptill's survey maps and radiocarbon dating don't lie. The fact that multiple features across Oak Island, wooden stakes, cobblestone paths, and even hidden vaults are all landing within a similar historical time frame is no longer just interesting. It's compelling. We're seeing a timeline come into focus. The late 1600s to early 1700s. That's when the work happened. That's when something was hidden. And the team isn't guessing anymore. They're building a case with real evidence, and every new find adds weight to the idea that this wasn't just a pirate hideout or a local hoax. This was an international effort, possibly involving a secret society that had the means, the knowledge, and the motivation to hide something sacred. Remember that button found on Lot 5? It wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a breadcrumb, a tangible link to Malta, to the prison the team visited, and to carvings they saw there, carvings identical to those on Oak Island. That means the treasure story doesn't start in Nova Scotia. It starts across the ocean, with the Knights of Malta and their spiritual cousins, the Knights Templar. These weren't just warriors, they were master builders, guardians of relics and custodians of powerful secrets. If they brought something to Oak Island, something that needed to be buried under vaults, walls, seawalls, and a swamp, it had to be worth protecting. This wasn't about gold. It was about meaning, legacy, and power. Let's go back to that solution channel, deep underground, where the ground caved in and the team believes the chapel vault fell. Think about that. A hidden channel in the bedrock just big enough to swallow a 7-foot-high box. A box that's been described for over a century. Some say it could have held Templar documents, sacred scrolls, or even biblical artifacts smuggled from Jerusalem. Wild theory, maybe? But when the same underground void causes a sudden collapse just as you're closing in on your target, that's not coincidence, that's design. The Oak Island team believes that something heavy, something man-made, dropped into that void, and now they're just feet away from reaching it. Let's not forget, the soil of Oak Island isn't just dirt, it's a historical archive. The square nails, the stake placements, even the orientation of boulders, these are clues left behind by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. The more the team uncovers, the clearer it becomes. These weren't random diggers or haphazard builders. They were architects of concealment, and they didn't just hide treasure. They built layers of misdirection, traps, misleading tunnels, and a swamp that might be artificial. If true, that means the entire landscape of Oak Island was transformed to bury something of unimaginable value. Who does that? Only people with purpose and something to lose. So what about the swamp? It's always been the oddball of the island, but new evidence suggests it might not be natural at all. That cobblestone path running straight through it, the stone road, the eye of the swamp, all seem to defy natural formation. And now, with new data and even sonar anomalies pointing to a massive structure beneath it, the theory that the swamp was engineered gains serious traction. Why create a swamp? Simple. To disguise the building of structures, to hide entrances, and to erase evidence. If the swamp was man-made, it could have covered docks, tunnels, or even burial chambers. And what lies beneath it might be the very thing we've all been waiting for. Let's talk about technology. Ground-penetrating radar, sonar scans, and seismic imaging have taken this treasure hunt from pickaxes to precision science. And it's thanks to that tech that we now have images of a massive anomaly beneath the swamp that matches old descriptions. A long, narrow void, possibly a wall or a chamber. It matches Nolan's wall. It aligns with the stake dates. And it sits exactly where you'd expect a man-made protective barrier to be. If it's real, and not just a geological trick, then this could be a keystone discovery. The kind that validates everything Fred Nolan claimed for decades. The kind that demands digging now. With the weather turning, this is the last big push. The team knows it. If they don't reach the bottom of Toot 1 in time, they lose the season. And maybe their only shot at recovering the vault. Emotions are high. Equipment is running around the clock. And the clock is ticking louder with every passing minute. Rick, Marty, and Craig aren't just digging. They're gambling. With time, with money, with legacy. And if they're right, if the vault is down there, it could be the moment they've all worked decades for, that we've all waited for. This episode isn't just another chapter, it's a climax in the making. You can feel the tension, the thrill, and the weight of history pressing in. Everything, theories, travels, tools, and tears, has led to this point, this shaft, this void, this possible discovery. If they find the vault, history will be rewritten. If not, the mystery deepens, the legend grows stronger, and the island keeps her secrets for another season. But one thing's for sure, Oak Island has never been closer to revealing the truth.